नमस्कार, मैं बालाजी, आपका चीफ मेंटर. Welcome to all of you in the second episode of Cyber Defense Engineering using Python. Today we are going to change the sequence of the syllabus because yesterday's view that I have seen and many of the students were getting worried that what we are going to learn in this class. While it is not apt, it is not correct to go and jump the syllabus just to make some students happy. But it is very much needed for simple reason, because you should know ultimately what you are going to learn in this, what is the finest art that you are going to learn. Today's session, you may or you may not understand. It doesn't matter, if you understand, well and good. If you does not understand, at least you know where we are going to reach. Your ultimate destinations, at least one of the milestone of those destinations, you must know before we start the session. Ladies and gentlemen, I must reiterate, 20,000 plus people have joined and only few people are coming for the session. I get surprised. This course, if I offer it under the banner of SANS, I promise you that $8,500 will be paid by each of the students. Where we are giving you free, and I still get surprised that not all of you have understood what we are up to. Boys and girls and faculties, these sessions are not fun session, or these sessions are not typical academic sessions that you get it in colleges and schools. They are professional sessions, and there is a flow of information that goes in a sequence which is a prerequisite for the success of this course. You may have your own design of thinking about the course. You may have your own questions in your mind. But when you come to the base camp to climb the Mount Everest, all your questions and inquisitiveness has no meaning for Sherpas. I don't know whether you understand Sherpa or whether you understand base camp. Those who visit Mount Everest, they have to attune themselves for at least 2 to 3 month time in base camp. And where the mentors largely are the people who is known as Sherpas. Many times these Sherpas, they don't have any formal qualification. Their only qualification is they have climbed the Mount Everest 20, 30 or many times 50 times to take the mountaineers on the most difficult terrain on the earth and help the mountaineers climb to the final destinations. They might be highly educated or they might be zero educated. Doesn't matter. What matters is the Sherpas are the finest mountaineers on the earth. And when they say you need to do like this, you have no choice but to do like this. If you don't, your chances of not coming back from the mountain is almost 90%. So, ladies and gentlemen, I am your Sherpa here. No question asked. There will be a lot of theories. There will be a lot of practicals. But if you don't understand the theory behind the practicals, you will never understand how to achieve the goals. So it's very, very important to understand the flow of the course has been designed to take you to the Mount Everest in just 60 days time, 30 to 60 days time. Many of the people are asking questions which are very stupid in my opinion. That what I am learning it here. For your kind piece of information, out of the 20,000 people, more than 5,000 people are there. They have never seen programming in their life. We need to start from scratch for them. And even if you are a brilliant programmer, I promise you, this base camp is not basic programming. It is far beyond that, actually. We are not creating programmers, which will be soon replaced by ChatGPT and generative AI's capabilities. Writing a whole 100,000 lines of code takes few seconds. Many of those who want to become a programmers, become a software engineers, you are going to get an uphill task in generative AI's days. You will at best become an operator. But here in cyber defense, it's a very different world altogether. It's a reverse engineering world. It requires significant amount of very, very planned study in a very, very structured manner. But before we go to the final stage, I was thinking of having these sessions 10 days or 12 days from now. But our team has decided that let's do one session to make you feel comfortable. Your ultimate journey is going to be very different from what you have thought of or what you have done it so far. It's a very structured course, very well planned, and the contents, many of the contents you don't get written in the books. Offensive Python, only 2 books are there. And what we are going to cover you is a 3rd book that Cyber Rakshak Foundation is going to publish in next 30 days from now. After this session, a book will be published, or maybe during the session, a book will be published. And it will be a new dimension books altogether. What you are learning it exactly from the book, which is meant for creating a million cyber army for the country. So let's start today with a concept which is known as port scanner. What is a port scanner? And how we are going to write our own port scanner, not the port scanner which has been created by somebody 5-7 years back. And largely all these, scanners have been created by the defense organizations from your adversary countries. There are 35 port scanners are there, which are very popular. Nmap is just one of them. Out of those 35 port scanners, most of these port scanners are coming from defense organizations created under the name open source. So when you are doing the scanning using the adversaries tool, possibly adversary knows about you, who you are, what you are doing, and exactly they can block you whenever they want to do it. You can't fight a battle, particularly the cyber battle, with adversaries' weapon. In 1990, when the Iraq wanted to fire a Scud missile on US Army, it didn't work. Tool created in 1980 had the backdoors, and the tool became dysfunctional when they wanted to really attack US. Boys and girls, we need to have our own tools. We need to have our own engineering capabilities so that we can trust the tool when we need it most. And that is the reason this course is a very different course, even better than the SANS course, which cost you $8,500. Let's understand what the port scanner scanning is and what is the technique used by the port scanning. So what it does actually, the tool sends a network packet to the target IP address. When it sends the packets, it goes and checks and listens silently without notifying the target IP address that what are the ports that are open and what are the connections which are incoming connections, which is allowed in the systems. It helps identify the potential entry point for an attacker. And for security professional, it provides an extraordinary eyes that which are the weak point on the network, which are the ports which are leaking and possibly can be misutilized by the attacker for attacking a probable critical systems. A port scanner has got, significantly large amount of capabilities. If I, summarize some of them, it definitely discovers open, closed, and filtered ports on a target systems. The port scanner normally provides various type of scan: transmission control protocol, user datagram protocol, or even the SYN-ACK packets of a typical TCP connections provides a very deep insights on the IP address on which a particular scan has been carried out. In next generation, port scanners also perform stealthy scans. Stealthy scans means it does it very, very surreptitiously without letting it known by the others to avoid any detections. A typical SYN scan, which is actually non-malicious in nature, but it opens a connection to the target IP address and provides significant amount of information through a acknowledgement packets. It also helps us identify the OS detections by analyzing network responses. A typical Nmap scripting engine help us, provide interactions with the target systems. If you look into the details of the Nmap scripting engine, it also provides a very well laid out API connectivity to the databases of known vulnerabilities. What does that mean? When a systems, through a research, the attacker come to know a particular system, what it is, what sort of vulnerability the system has. A particular firewall, I'll take you an example of Sophos firewall recently has got multiple vulnerabilities announced. So any vulnerability which has already been announced, a database is created for those vulnerabilities. An Nmap scripting engine is able to comprehend whether any such vulnerability can be exfiltrated, can be used for penetrating the systems, and to identify a potential risk attached to that. And it also does, it uses significant amount of socket programming capabilities, which allows parallel scanning to speed up a scanning process. The tool also has the capability to plan a timely actions through a scheduler. What does that mean? There are two times you can do the scans. When it is very busy, that is the time when the detection rates are lowest. So if you want to do the scanning during that time, particularly the SYN packet scanning, then chances of you remaining undetected is very high. So customizable timing options to control the scan intensity, helps a scanner or a scanning team to remain undetected through those scans. New generation port scanning capability supports both IPv4 and IPv6 networks. Boys and girls, many of you have not gone through the networking, videos that we have shared with you. For port scanning, it is mandatory to know the networking. That's the reason I was saying, when you are coming to the base camp, you need to listen to the Sherpas. The 5 videos that I have shared with you is a prerequisite for going into any class of offensive Python. So my request is that it is good time. You have got 3-4 days more time to cover that up. And interestingly, we have provided you even the transcript of those videos in English as well as in Hindi so that you can understand and decode every component of it very easily. Some of these videos that have been shared, it is very, very special video because out of the thousands of video we have scanned, these 5 videos provides you everything what is the prerequisite for this course from the networking perspective. The new generation port scanner also provide trace route functionality. And that really help determine the path between the scanner and the target very easily. Based on the open ports, the new generation scanners also should have the version detection capability. Which particular version of firmware is running on that particular network devices? If it is a firewall, what is the version for that firewall? If you are able to go beyond the firewall, then what particular version of your operating system is there? And a great port scanner should have the ability to scan multiple hosts and subnets simultaneously. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for horizon scanning. As a defender, if you want to know then how many companies' ports are open which are potentially vulnerable, you can't run with a solo scan. You need to have scan multiple hosts and subnets same time, which will provide you a very deep insights for the entire country's horizon of vulnerabilities which are available on the network devices. So new generation port scanner, when you are going to build, it is very important for you to host the subnets simultaneously. And any report that you generate out of that, it should be readable. It should be in a format which can help us provide a deeper insight inside those reports. It can be a text, it can be an XML, or typical grep, we call it grepable formats, so that grep command can actually detect that and can you provide you a deep insight on those reports. Additionally, new generation port scanner should also have packet capture or packet filtering capabilities, so that when the network data are captured, analysis through the packet filtering options should be available to the device so that it can provide deeper insights on the packet capture from the networks. It should also have the capability to dissect the packets into the header file and the raw files. If you can build that capability, it provides you absolutely next generation, port filters with some extraordinary capabilities. When you needed a very small piece of information, you should not look for a verbose reports. The tool should also have the capability to provide you concise and verbose report whenever you want that. It should definitely support the custom port ranges and specifications so that if there is any weakness on those ports are there, including the custom ports, you should be able to find more detailed analysis out of that and a good report can be generated out of that. When you are an attacker, this port scanners provides you a very deeper dimensions about the networks and its security and a potential entry points very easily. And one of the most important component is that whatever tool you make it, it should be agnostic to the operating system. It should work on the Windows, it should work on the Linux, it should work on the Mac OS. So boys and girls, when you are building these capabilities, at the end of the session, not tomorrow or not today when you are going to have this session, but when you are actually there 10 days or 12 days from now, when you start working on it, I believe that you need to build all this capability just to make sure the port scanner that you build is world class. Let's come and understand, something more deeper on what is the importance of building port scanners. If you have built the scanners and if you have the valuable skill for network security, professionals and ethical hacker, you can be an asset for this. As I told you, it helps you discover the open ports on the target systems. And with the new generation, port scanners, where the vulnerability assessment database is already there, it becomes very comfortable to find more detailed analysis of the network systems having the vulnerabilities, and then the target for penetrating the system becomes much easier from the offender side as well as from defender side. You know your weakness and they can even fix those weaknesses. As a prerequisite, 3 things are required for building a port scanner. The 5 video that I have sent you as a part of the prerequisites, it's a mandatory requirement for coming to this session. Understanding of network concepts is a prerequisite. You need to know a little deeper into the network concepts because port scanning is all about networking. So unless you understand the nuances of networking concepts, it will be very difficult for you to really understand and build this type of capabilities. As we are going to use Python, so Python programming language, including object-oriented programming, is a prerequisite for that. As many of you are just a beginner, and that's the reason, when we have started the class today, we started from the very, very finer points. What is there in Python programming? What is the difference between programming and scripting? What are the components of programming? And what are the different libraries within the Python? How we can utilize Python for offensive security? Those things becomes a must before you come to this classroom. And the last one is the most important, relevant libraries. I don't know how many of you know it. It has got more than some few lakhs libraries built in. It's very difficult to find those libraries unless you are an expert on that. Out of those 102,000 libraries, we have selected certain libraries for you. Trust me, these things are not available in any one of the books that I have read. And my, mentors, other mentors, will definitely, concur my views with that. And I'm sure that many of your faculties, you must not have seen some of those libraries. We are going to use it here. Because we are giving you a perspective of offensive programming, not a normal program. It is not web scripting. It is far beyond the web scripting. So boys and girls, it's a very important skills to know the Python programming in and out, and which will definitely make sure we start from scratch and then we go to build the entire story in the 10 to 15 days time. Those students, those who have not paid so far for the certificate, a very small money, 300 odd rupees are there. Please do pay, because our learning management system will have significant amount of important informations there, and you will be able to test your skill on a daily basis through the exams. Every chapter end, when the chapter ends, we'll announce there will be an exam and you have to write in exams. Your progress will be monitored. This will not only help you to know about where you are, but it will also help us know where you are. Unfortunately, learning management system is a rented system and I have to pay the money for that. And for that, you need to pay some money, because for 20,000 people, if I pay the money for that, we don't have that much of big money to pay. And it's a very small money. 300 bucks is not a, technically this, the course is absolutely free. And it's very costly course, boys and girls and faculties, and the moment you pay the money, you also become serious for that actually. So when you are, starting a port scanner in Python, you need to start from the network basics first, which I have shared you before you joined the class. 4 days or 5 days before the session started, we shared you the network basics part of it, which is a prerequisite for success. If you have not done it, I exhort you to visit those pages, see those transcripts in Hindi and English both, and make yourself familiar with that. Second one is the Python programming. Python programming, we are going to cover it in detail. There's no question asked on that. And we'll go from scratch. Even if some of you are great programmers, please excuse me. We'll go from scratch because we have children, we have students, those who are not familiar with programming language at all. So if you are feeling inconvenient, please drop off from the sessions. Don't make noises on the chat box, which I hate it. And don't show that you are a great programmer, because I'll ask you to write the exams, and I promise you most of my exams you will fail if you are thinking that you are a great programmer. Go straight by straight. Be patient. Cyber defense engineering is not a programming skills. If you can't sit in a session for 3 hours for the classroom, you can't be a hacker or you can't be a defender. You can be at best a programmer, or you can be at best a technology guy. You don't have a place in this room. And I'm as blunt as that actually. If you are looking for a career in cyber defense, be patient, be passionate. Patience and passion is the prerequisite for being here. And I tell you, if you have this skill is enough for getting you a job of 5 lakh to 10 lakhs. If you can build the story on top of it, it's very easy to get a placement. And I promise you, the top 5% students will get placed from this room just after this session. Because I know that, these skills are rare skills, and there is a significant amount of demand in the market, including the government organizations. Third skill is a socket programming, which you will be undergoing. All the libraries will cover, and socket programming will be covered at length by Ayush, who is your mentor for this program today. I'll introduce you later, but he will be covering that. Fourth concept will be the most important one, network scanning component. So you'll have to understand how the TCP work, how the SYN packets are sent, how the acknowledgement packet comes, how the three-way handshake happens. Component by component, you need to know. Then you need to understand that, how you can be detected by the detection system. So it is very important component of the complete Python, offensive Python capabilities for port scanning. Then you need to understand the version controls, how to handle the Git libraries, how to go to the GitHub, how to create an account, and how to maintain the code's, versions. Because those things are a basic programmers, minimum skills that is required for that. That will really help you, Next one is the development environment setup. Because when you are going for a session, what are the components that you need to have it in your systems before you go for a programming? There will be some prerequisites for that. Some of the libraries that need to be there in your system. If you don't have it, if you have the full Anaconda installed in your system, almost all libraries are there, no challenges. But still you have to fetch those components. You should know how to fetch those components and keep it ready for your programming. So development environment setup is also a prerequisite for the. Then comes the security concepts. Security concepts is that, at the network security component, how the firewall works. I've got 2 videos dedicated for that. I've kept it here. One video, if the time permits, I'll prepare exclusively for you. If it doesn't, then I have got to already search video on the open source, which will help you know more about the security. And you will have the full feature of the firewall, how the firewall, detects it, because if you are doing the outside to scanning, the first barrier is your firewall. So how the firewall works, how the firewall is configured, how the vulnerabilities in firewall can be found, and how the firewall, is managed. Those components, we know it well. And the underlying principles, the confidentiality, integrity, and availability component of security concepts, if you understand, I'll have a separate session on that. And I'm sure that before we go and jump into the offensive security, we'll talk about security before we go there. And then you must know the networking tools and utilities, what are available beyond Python, also within the Python, for knowing more about the port scanning. The next component is troubleshooting and debugging, because however great programmer we are, we make mistakes. So when you're running the program, the error will come up, and then you should know how to troubleshoot it. Error handling in Python is one of the critical skills around there. And we'll talk about error handling both under the OOPS, object-oriented programming, and as well general error handling, so that you are very convinced when you come over here. And we'll provide you a lot of learning resources in between in your learning management system. And many of these contents will be shared in Telegram channel, so that you are absolutely conversant with those processes. So when you go into detail of the networking, if I go dissect it further, your familiarity with the TCP/IP protocol suite is a mandatory requirement. You must understand, how the TCP, what is the role of the TCP and UDP protocols in data transmission, how the UDP behaves, how the three-way handshake happens, how is the UDP is different from the TCP/IP, your TCP components, how the IP addresses are created, what is IPv4 versus IPv6. I think, those are the components which are already there in those 5 videos. If you can do it, it will be great. Knowledge of open system interconnect. There are 7 layers. All these 7 layers should be in your head here, which is part of your networking components. And finally, you must know what are the reserved ports, what is specific ports, what are the ports are there for which purpose, and what are the open ports. It's very important to know the concept of port, understand the role of ports in facilitating communication between application over a network, and how those ports numbers are defined. This has been covered, all 3 has been covered in those 5 videos. And if I find that, there is some challenges there, I won't mind taking one more sessions, for 2 hours, 3 hours time myself, so that you are absolutely conversant when you are going for the offensive programming. Boys and girls, we are ahead of time. I'm giving you an insight so that you understand where we are going to end at the end of the session. This is not the end, it is just beginning of offensive security. Just one module we have taken, and then we are going to cover the information. So as I told you, understanding IP addressing, classless inter-domain routing, how the subnettings are done, how the global networks are managed, how the I can define the the various component of IP, which are public IP, which are private IP, how the subnetting helps you achieve the much bigger goal, why IPv6 is important, why IPv6 is not coming up the scale right away, while the IPv6 has been planned 10 years back, still IPv6 are not being utilized by many of the organizations. What are the vulnerabilities attached to the IPv6, specific vulnerabilities? why it is important to have IPv4 and IPv6 both traffic open, and what is the pros and cons of that. You must understand those things before you go for the offensive programming. And then socket programming is a very important component. Socket programming, getting acquainted with socket programming in Python is a prerequisite for the success here. Foundation for building network application without socket is not possible. Why India is not having one simple tool like PuTTY? Because we are not teaching in the classroom socket programming. A PuTTY, which is just 30 lines of codes, does not exist in India. It is not internal. And you won't believe, PuTTY has been punctured by Chinese hackers, and all the systems, those who are using PuTTY type of SSH tool, they were all compromised across the country. That is the need why you need to understand socket programming. And finally, creating your own tools. A small tool like PuTTY, you should create on your own once you've learned it. You can have your own startups, and one tool can make you $1 billion owner. Basic Python syntax is a prerequisite. That's the reason you will have to, if there is a need for giving you a break in between, we'll do that. Because a strong grasp of Python syntax, including variables, data type, loops, conditional loops, functions, and exception handling, is definitely needed, and will give you sufficient time and content to make sure that you learn these components very easily. And we'll also do some hands-on exercises for that. Understand how to use lists and dictionaries to manage data effectively. How to do the string manipulation. Know how to manipulate strings in Python, as port scanners may require string parsings and data instructions in a very big way. So if you have not understood how to manipulate strings in Python, possibly you will start struggling here. And we'll cover that. As a part of our journey, we'll cover that. So boys, when we are starting from zero, there is much bigger milestone ahead of us. So have patience. Be passionate in the classroom. Don't waste time in chatting on the side windows. There's not need for that. You are here for the classroom. Come finish that classroom. I am available. My telephone number is with you. My WhatsApp and Telegram ID is with you. If you feel like chatting, give me a message. I'll try my best to give you a response. But most of the response will be there in Telegram channel, in a video, just to make sure you all understand that. You don't have to call me for that. I've handled similar type of 3 courses. So I know what are the questions you are going to ask, and I give your answers beforehand. Some of you have not got access to LMS. It's not that we have not sent mail to you. Many of the mails are in spam. Please go and check yourself. You will find it there. And if you don't, there are 1,200 people are already there in the system, but they have not changed the passwords. If you are already there in the systems, you can go and reset your password the way you do it in Gmail, the way you do it in Instagram. Go to https cybervidyapeeth.codetantra.com and go to the login, and you say forget password. The moment you set the forward password, you will have to send your email ID. The moment you send the email ID, a mail will come to you automatically. You don't have to come to me for that. So please don't chat. I know you are very eager to chat on the side windows. Please don't chat. And it is very important to focus on the class when you are in the classroom. Okay? Stop chatting on the side. Please don't do it. And I can see you people are chatting in bulk. Please stop it, because chatting is not the right place for doing it. I can block your chats altogether, but I'm not blocking it. Rightful questions, and we'll ask you some questions. You will have to give the answer for those questions. For that, use the chat. For any troubleshooting other than that, any cross-chat, cross-talks are not tolerated in this class. You will be blocked forever. Even if you have paid it, you will be blocked forever from chatting. File handling and module libraries are part of your, Python programs, and you will be given enough of, understanding on that. Okay, so there is a question for you, boys and girls. You all have gone through the networking content. This is your first question. What is the primary purpose of a port scanner? We discussed about it. If you know the answer, out of the 4, please put your answer, full answer, you put it on the chat window. Now it is time for you to chat. Don't chat otherwise. You have a quiz, now you chat it. What is the primary purpose of a port scanner? If you know the answer, please put your answer. If all 7 answers are correct for you, you get a surprise book from me. But you need to give answer immediately the moment the questions are asked. All 7 questions are there for these lessons. If give you all answers, I'll provide you in very insightful books, 30-page books written exclusively for networking. So if you are ready to grab the books, very authentic write-up and sufficient for covering all your classes, please do attempt those 7 questions and then chat. Don't chat otherwise. Now coming to the important socket programming in Python. So you'll be taught socket basics, creating sockets, TCP and UDP sockets, how they are different, and then how to handle the exceptions. These 4 components will be part of our training, and you must know it. And when you are coming to the classroom, prepare it and then come. Don't come without preparing it, because whatever content we are going to give you, it's already in LMS. Otherwise, search on Google before coming to the classroom. You know what you are going to teach in the classroom next day, and we'll give you heads up a day ahead. So learn about different ports, scanning techniques, such as TCP connect, scene scanning, UDP scanning. Understand the legal applications. It's very important. Don't go and scan any systems. You might land up in trouble. So when you have the scanners, don't scan any IP address on the earth. I don't mind scan you if you scan some Pakistani systems or Chinese system. If you can scan it, please give it a try. Don't do any damage immediately. A good attackers are not the one who go and hit someone and let other become aware about it. If you know about your enemy, know it well. Don't attack them. You attack them only when they need it most. Don't go for defacement of those web pages based on your scanning results when you become expert in two months' time. But be careful. Any scanning is illegal things, and it is not permitted. So do the scanning, very carefully. And we'll teach you some small tidbits, how to disguise that where you have scanned from. If you are scanning Indian systems, please excuse me, you will be caught. If you are scanning outside system, possibly you will not be caught. And the cross-country, relationships are not that great. So they don't share it, the information. So doesn't matter. But avoid it, don't do bad scannings, and hit somebody's system. Analyze and study existing network scanning tools. If you want to make world-class tools, you should know which are the world-class tools and how it operates. So knowing about Nmap, today we are going to give you some details of Nmap, how it works, so that you become familiar with that. We are also going to provide you a small flow chart, how to write codes on that, what are the steps for writing the codes, so that you become familiar with that. Always knows your competitors. So if you are competing with Nmap, you should definitely know in and out of the Nmap. Then only you can build world-class tool on top of the Nmap or beyond Nmap. Gain experience with command line tools. Stop working on the Windows. That's the first thing for being an hacker. I hate being on Windows, but these classes happens on Windows, so I remain there. But most of my work is on, I still love, Berkeley Unix. BSD is my favorite, components. Lastly, network security. I'll give you 2 more videos. You must learn. and basic concepts of network, ethical hacking concepts. I'll give you one write-up and one videos that will be enough to cover that. We are not going to provide you today because what I'm going to show you, what we are going to teach you after 20 days. But I just wanted to make sure you get excited about that. Another quiz for you, boys and girls. Which type of port scan sends a full TCP handshake to the target port? This is the second one. If you do all 7, you get a surprise book. But all answers should come instantly within 30 seconds. Are you there? Don't chat. Write the answer if you know it. If you don't know it, don't search in the Google at this point of time. In any case, we are going to teach you about that. As a matter of fact, all these questions, are already part of, the syllabus. And when we're teaching you, finally, you will come to know about it and you will have more deeper scan. But if you don't try it, that's bad, actually. Very important thing, installing the Python is one of the important things. And what IDEs you are going to choose, integrated development environment, is important. So whether you go for Visual Studio Code, PyCharm or Sublime, if you are unable to load it for this program, you can do it on Google Colab as well. You don't have to worry about these courses already available there. You can start from scratch. But if you want to learn, we already have provided you a video. Please go and download Python. Don't ask me for troubleshooting because for 20,000 people, impossible. I can't give you answer. All the machines are different. I don't know what is the answer. If all of you are on the same platforms, I will troubleshoot for one and all 20,000 can be finished. So if you are not unable to do it, try to troubleshoot it. Go for the Google, search for it. Go to the, another search engine, DuckDuckGo type of, search engine and go and search for it. Try to troubleshoot it. If you can't, don't worry about it. For this course, Google Colab is good enough to go ahead with. Version control systems, we'll talk about a little bit about that, how to get a place in the Git or GitHub repository and how to track changes in your code and collaborate with others if necessary. If there is a group of people who are working together, how you're going to collaborate. I'm sure that IUS will cover some of those components. Debugging techniques, in any case, you are going to learn. Error handling is a part of our overall programs. So we'll spend both in, object-oriented programming, error handling, as well as, general error handling and how to do the debugging for your codes. Familiarize yourself with the tools and techniques to identify and fix errors in your code effectively. A good programmers are the brilliant debuggers because they know what mistakes they make and how to correct those mistakes. Debuggers are always sharper guys than the normal programmers. So I'm sure that all of you are brilliant students. You'll be able to debug and you learn the art of, debugging very, very easily. Oh, one more questions before I, close my session. Which port scanning technique allows the scanning process to go undetected by the target's logging system? I already given you the answer. The hint was there in my class at the beginning of it. So this is the time for you to chat. Don't chat otherwise, chat it now and then you are good for that. Some of the books, I'll refer you some books on Python, online tutorials and courses which are available in free. We'll give you some information on that, but the session will be more than enough for you. Don't need to go anywhere else. Be on my learning management system. I still exhort you, you come and pay. It is not a small money, $300 a small one-day pizza for you. Come and pay and join the course on the LMS. It will help you build, more predictive learning at the end of it. And we'll have more sound control around that. Conclusion is very simple. Building a port scanner in Python requires a strong foundations of networking concept, Python programming, and socket programming. Be patient. All three of them will be covered in detail. Then, by mastering these prerequisites, understanding network scanning techniques, security concept, ethical considerations, laws, and related to scanning, you will be prepared to develop powerful, responsible port scanner tool. As you progress through the development process, remember to continuously seek learning resources. Practice coding. Daily, you should do some codings. It's not that you are coming to the classroom and you have forgotten about that. Engage with cybersecurity community and join our the Cyber Vidyapeeth Foundation Telegram group, for the main Telegram group, also the Python group. Both the groups be there. Continuously we'll keep on sharing resources. Right now we are actually focusing on the courses. That's the reason resource sharing is less, but we'll be sharing you a lot of resources on that. So it's good time to be there. A very strong community of 12,000 people, more than 5,000 professionals from across the countries are part of that. If you have a problem, I promise you, you will get the answers within minutes. And that is the beauty of being part of that community. And keep enhancing your skills. Don't run away from the course. Be till end of it. This is a challenge for all of you, boys, girls, and faculties. If you do it, I promise you, you'll be something different, and without paying your money, you'll be learning something extraordinary. Happy coding and happy scanning. I'll hand it over to Ayush. Ayush is a part of my inner core team, and he's also a hacker. He's in this community for last 3 year time. An awesome guy. He knows, he speaks less, but he speaks with precision. So don't leave a single word out of his mouth, because if you don't hear me, it doesn't matter. If you don't hear him, you are going to miss something big. Because what he's going to teach you, how to write your own port scanner. Very few people in the country can be proud of it. Over to you, Ayush. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. All the best. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.
Thank you, sir, for explaining these terms very well. And now we'll move to the okay. So we have gone through the basics of the port scanning. So today we'll create port scanner with Python. So on this slide, okay, port scanner is a useful tool, as you know, for security and penetration testing. Okay, so these are the table of contents, Python installations, using the socket modules, and other things. Okay, we will see all the things. So here is a quiz for you. So it's time to. Okay, so there is a question. So go read the questions and try to answer it in the comment. Okay, here is the flow chart. Okay, so flow chart is a visual representation which determines you the steps which are included in the port scanner. So okay, so flow chart and description. Start. The flow chart begins with start symbol representing the starting point of the port scanning process, and after that we'll provide some input, and the user is prompted to input the IP address or the host name which is required for the scanning, and a list of common ports to scan is defined. These ports are commonly used by various services and are good starting point for a port scan. Okay, we'll give some ports and the host name IP address so that it will perform the scan. Okay, and after that, initialize list of open ports. So whatever port that we will assign to the port scanner, it will convert them into a list. Okay, so that it will go through each of it. So here is the flow diagram, flow chart diagram. So the port scanner attempts to establish a connection to the target port using TCP connect scanning technique. Okay, and if the connection is successful, it indicates that a port is open and the flowchart proceed to the next step. Okay, so if the port will be open, it will proceed. Okay, add open port to list. It will add the open ports to the list. If the connection is successful, the open port number is added to the list of open ports. Okay, it will separate the open ports into a different list. The flowchart uses the process symbol to represent this step. Okay, process symbol will represent it. End of the loop. The flowchart uses the decision symbol to check if all common ports have been scanned. Okay, you can check. If there are more ports to scan, the flowchart goes back to the loop through common port system. Okay, so we are defining a multiple number of ports. That's why it will look for it that if more ports are rushed for scanning, it will go back to the loop and do the same process again. Okay. If all ports have been scanned, the flowchart proceeds to the next step. Okay, if all ports have been scanned, then it will time to quit the program. So after that, it will display. The flowchart uses the input output symbol to display the list of open ports found during the scan. Okay. We can also create a file which will contain the report of the scanning. So we can also do that. The port number are shown to the user that these ports are open. It will show you the result. After that, end. The flowchart ends with the end symbol. Okay, representing the completion of the port scanning process. Okay, here is the one more diagram. Start. After that, the flowchart begins with the start symbol, as I have said. Input target IP host name that we will provide. The user is prompted input the IP address or host name of the target system. Okay. The user will be asked by the script that you have to submit the host name, port number. Okay. This information is crucial as it determines the target for the port scan. Okay. So these are the crucial information because if you will go for port scan, then we have to define that what are the boundaries that which ports I want to know about it. Okay. Define common ports. List of common ports to scan is predefined. There are some predefined rules that will scan for the most common ports. Okay, so there are more than 65,000 ports, and out of it, if you want to scan it fast, then you will just provide the common ports. Okay, that I want to know about these common ports. The list typically includes ports commonly used by popular services such as ActiveP. Okay. So FTP is also a service which runs on port number 21. It will go for the SFTP to run on port number 22, SSH port number 22, HTTP port number 80, HTTPS port 43. Okay, these are the port numbers for the common services. Scanning these common ports allows the scanner to quickly identify potential vulnerabilities. Okay, after scanning this, we'll know about that these are the services that are running and what are the version of the services. If they are found to be vulnerable in the exploit databases or vulnerability databases, then we will know that this is a vulnerability by which the hacker can enter into the system. Okay, there are some explanations. I have given you a lot of look through common ports, initialize list of open ports, connect to port. Okay, we'll see other things in the code. Add open ports to the list. These are the steps that have been covered. If the connection is successful, the port number is added to the list, as you have seen. Okay, list open ports in. Okay, here is a diagram. Input target that will provide. After that, we will define that we want to know about the common ports. That what is the result of the common ports. Initialize list of open ports that will initialize the ports into a list. Loop through common ports. Okay, it will loop. After that, connect to port. The main thing that we will gonna utilize here the socket to connect to the port. Okay, if the port is open, then yes, add open port to list. Otherwise, no. That means end of the end of the loop. Okay, and display open ports, and after that, end. If the port will be open, yes. Okay. So there is another quiz. Which port scanning techniques involve scanning a range of IP address to identify active host on internet? Okay. So try to answer these questions in the chat section. Okay. Scanning. So these are the prerequisites that have been covered. So we will use socket. So here is a definition. Is open, is port open? Okay. So these are the two definitions that are going to be used. So first one is port function to check if a port is open. First of all, we will know that a port is open. If the port is open, we'll proceed for the another task. Okay. After that, we'll do perform port scanning. Okay. This function is when used to perform the main thing, which is port scanning. After knowing that these are the open ports. Okay, you have seen it. Okay. So open ports equal to you can see the symbol is for list, and now you have to know about the list. Okay. So there is a loop for port in ports. If is port the function open ports dot append. Okay, it will add it into the list if the port will be open. So you will see the whole program. No need to worry. Okay. These are the brief chunks of the program. So there is a main block. Block is the entry point of the program. We get the target host from the user. Define a list of common ports to scan. As you can see here in the list, there are few ports 21, 22, 18. Okay, there are different number of the ports, and here in the list we have provided them. Okay, and then print the open ports found on the target. All right. So here one more thing that we are also using here try and accept. Okay. So by using this try and accept, we can do error handling. Like if you are scanning for multiple ports, okay, or performing some actions, then at that time, if the program throws some error, then it will be handled. Okay. Otherwise, the program will fail unexpectedly. Okay. One more quiz. If a port scan shows that all ports on a target are closed, what does it imply? This is upon you. So try this. One more thing. We are using threading concept. Okay. So by using the threading module, so first of all, we have to know about threading. So what threading do? If we are providing a number of ports, which is 15, okay. If we are providing 15 ports, then if we are using threading, it will separate those 15 ports scan. Okay, it will scan for the 15 ports in a separate manner. Okay, those ports will be independent of each other. The process will execute independently if we use threading, and it will also provide good performance. So we will see how we use the threading in the program. Okay, test the port scanner with different IP address. Yeah, we will test. Okay, so the summary you can read it. In this part of session, we walk through the step-by-step process of building a simple TCP port scanner in Python. By understanding socket programming, handling user input, performing port scanning, handling errors, and optimizing the scanner using multi-threading. So I have given you the scenario of the multi-threading. As we will go through it, we will know it better. Okay, you now have a basic port scanner that can be expanded and enhanced as you do. For more advanced network security and penetration testing tasks, remember to use this knowledge responsibly. Okay. So we have to do it responsibly and ethically, and always seek permission before scanning and target network. So no need to worry. I will provide you a IP where you can test. Okay. So there are some introduction about the Nmap. So Nmap is a network mapper tool. Okay. So a powerful open source tool used for network exploration and security auditing. It was created by Gordon Leon, also known as Theodore Gaskovich, and has become one of the most popular and widely used network scanning tools. So nowadays, it is the most popular tool, as I know, and there are more tools. So there are various tools that has been used as a open source tool, but Nmap one is the most famous. Okay, Nmap is the most famous tools right now. In this guide, we will dissect Nmap, exploring its features, capabilities, and use cases in the field of cybersecurity. So you know what is Nmap right now. Okay, what we can do with Nmap. So we can do a lot of things, post discovery, post scanning. Okay, there are post discovery options, scripting engine. There is a scripting engine in Nmap. Post detection, we can also detect that which operating system is running on the machine that we have scanned, and version detection, that what is the version and what are the services running and what are the vulnerabilities there. And command line uses, we can use it with the command line basic and scanning commands. We will see all these things. Okay, these are the table of the contents. So what is Nmap? Now you know about Nmap. It is a network scanner tool, famous one. Okay. So Nmap is a powerful and versatile open source network scanning tool that was first released in 1997. Its primary purpose is to scan networks, discover hosts, and identify open ports and services running on those hosts. Over the years, Nmap has evolved, adding new features and scanning techniques, making it an essential tool for network. Okay, so as the time has been passed, so a lot of features have been added in Nmap. Okay, scanning techniques. So there are various scanning techniques. So there are some brief introduction of few techniques and a lot of techniques. TCP connect scanning. So Nmap establishes a full TCP connection with the target to determine if the port is open or closed. This one is the basic one, TCP. Okay. After that, scene scanning. Okay, is also known as half open scanning. So what we do is scan. Nmap sends scene packets to the target and analyzes the responses to identify open ports. Okay, so this one is the half open scanning. UDP scanning. We also know that what is UDP. Okay, user data graph protocol. So we can also scan for UDP. So Nmap sends UDP packets to the target to identify open UDP ports. X scanning, Nmap sends packets to identify if ports are filtered or unfiltered by firewalls. Okay, so there are some cases in which you will see that ports are filtered. Okay, so in this case, we use some advanced techniques to bypass the firewalls. Okay. Windows scanning, Nmap sends packets with a specific window size to identify open ports. This one is also another technique. Host discovery. Okay. Nmap uses various host discovery techniques to find active hosts on a network that which are the hosts active on the network. These techniques include ICMP for request. Okay. So after that, TCP scene packets are request. Okay, address resolution protocol. By discovering active host, Nmap can focus its scanning efforts on live systems. Okay, you can also try it on live systems. Installing Nmap on different operating systems. Nmap is available. Okay, yeah. Nmap is available on lot of the distributions of Linux, also in Windows, Mac OS, PhDs. Okay, user can download. Okay, from here you can download the Nmap as per your operating system and versions. There is one more quiz for you. Which command line port scanning tool allows for operating system detection in addition to port scanning? Okay, so it's time for you to think about it and answer it in the chat. Give it a try. So host discovery options, we are giving port scanning techniques. We have covered a little bit about port scanning, and there are few other techniques of port scanning. We will see a lot more. Scripting engine, there is an scripting engine which is known as Nmap scripting engine, NEC, allows user to write and run custom scripts to automate tasks, gather additional information or exploit vulnerabilities. So
And let me add, Ayush, let me add one point. The Nmap feature why it is important to learn it here is very simple. If you want to make your own port scanner, you should definitely know your competitor. Nearest competitor is Nmap. It has got multiple features. You must know those features. Unless you know that, you will not be able to build something similar or something better than what it is. So it is very important to know a little bit of, Nmap. And possibly, Ayush, you can, if you want to show the Nmap, how it runs, that will be great actually.
Yeah, yeah, I will go to the Nmap tool. I will show. So these are the flags that these are the switches that we use in the Nmap to perform the different types of techniques. Okay, so I think we should go to the directly on the terminal and perform some scanning. Okay, so we will see after that. There are different types of techniques here. Okay, there are different. Okay. So, all right, this is my terminal. Okay. And map. So by this command, you can check that Nmap is installed in your system or not. If you are using Linux, then you can do sudo apt. If you are using Debian, install Nmap. Okay. By this command, you can install it from the terminal. So I have installed the Nmap. Now it's time to show you Nmap. And I will scan for a website which is free 400 times. You can do 100 scans in a day. It is especially made for testing purpose. Okay, scanme.nmap.org. Okay, this is the host on which we are gonna try the scan. And after that, I am adding some flags. I will explain about these flags. So I'm using hyphen EVV. It will give full description about the scan very verbosely. Okay, and after that I will do script scan. Okay, I will explain this. You don't need to worry. And after that we have to define the range of port and the switch or flag which has been used in the Nmap to define the ports is item B. And I will type here 21, 22, 18, 23. Okay, and now I will enter. And also I will add as the for version. Okay, it will scan the version. And see the scanning has been started. I have used the hyphen SC, which is for scripts. All the default scripts will be utilized in the scan. So now it's time to see the results. So the main thing that we need to focus here is activity is closed. The result is showing that it is closed. And after that, this one is 22 port, which is open, which is for SSH. And you can see a lot of information is coming about the SSH, that the version. Open SSH 6.6.1. Even this is the exact version. Okay, so our scan is showing us the result about the version, and also you can see that there are some operating system information there. Ubuntu, that the system is using Ubuntu. Okay, so here is the HTTP result that the server that is used here is Apache. Okay, this is the HTTP server which is running on the port number 18, and I have did it same for 443, but it is saying it is closed. This one is for HTTPS, but it one is closed or connection refused. Okay, there may be a firewall. Okay, so here service info OS Linux, we will choose a Linux as you have seen here. It is showing us that it may be a it can't be 100% accurate, but a good accuracy has been something and Okay, so if you want to know about Nmap, that how to use the other things, or where I can read about the each and every flags of the Nmap. So it's really hard to remember each and every flag on your mind. So you can use Nmap man Nmap. Okay. So this is a command for Linux. It should also work here. Yeah. Here is the description where you can read all the things about the Nmap flags. That there is an example here. It is using hyphen n, which is for a aggressive scan. This is also a type of technique, and hyphen T4, which will define the thread speed, that how much speed you want to run it. It will provide T equal to 5, then it will do it in a very quick manner. It will not give you the most accurate results, but it will do it in a quick manner. Okay, so where we can see a lot of flags are there. So you can read about a lot of flags in the manual of the Nmap. Okay, all right. So we'll also do some more scans. No need to worry. So now it's time to move on to the PPT. So here you have seen that hyphen key that we have used for define the codes. Okay, and after that Nmap app. Okay, for fast scan, S capital S for scene scan. Okay, which one was the partial scan that we have discussed? And after that, advanced scanning options, and you can also make output in text XML formats or graphical formats. Okay, and with the scripting engine, I have given a brief introduction about the NSC. Okay, so by using this NSC scripts, we can also do some specific types of scanning for determining some vulnerabilities which are available in the NSC scripts. Okay, what are the use cases of Nmap? Network discovery and inventory, vulnerability assessment and penetration testing, autos, firewall and network security testing. You can also know about that firewall are there or not, network monitoring and troubleshooting. Okay, there are the advanced things, custom skill development. It also provides a platform where you can also create some custom NSC skills. Also, we can do some automations. Okay, or there are some more functionalities by which we can do brute force, banner grabbing, service discovery. A lot of things are there in the Nmap tool. Data gathering and post exploitations. These are the advanced things that will post exploitation is the uh, next part after the scanning. After the getting the results or after compromising a system. Nmap scripting engine, we have heard about it using Nmap with Metasploit. Okay, so Metasploit is a tool which is very popular also, framework by which we can integrate Nmap, and we can do a lot more than just doing a port scan. Okay, so permission and legal considerations and saving, avoiding detection and intrusion detection system ideas. Performance optimization, optimize scan setting to reduce scan time and minimize the impact on the network. Okay, so after spending some time with Nmap, you will understand that which techniques you should use according to your need. If you want the result very quick, then you will do some fast scans. Okay, so after that, analyzing Nmap scan results. Yeah, we will after that we will analyze the scan results as I have shown you last time when I have did the scan. That these are the open ports, what are the versions, what are the operating system detected by the Nmap scanner. Limitations, what are the limitations? So NMAP has certain limitations such as its dependence on target responsiveness, firewalls, and network conditions. The firewall plays an important role here. Alternative network scanning tools. Explore alternative network scanning tool that offer different features and capabilities. You can also use a tool named Rust Scan, which is made on Rust language. This one is also a good tool. So we have discussed about network mapper. Okay. So these are the few more switches, okay, by which we can do some different type of scans. I have discussed about the cell scan, target scan, VDP scan, fast scan. By using FNP, we have defined the ports. If we use -P hyphen, then it will scan for all the 65,535 ports. Okay, so it will be really time consuming. Okay, but if you want to scan the each and every port, then you have to do it. Okay. Anyway, there is one more example by which you can specify the UDP ports, and after that there is one more example by which you can specify the TCP ports, UDP ports at once. Okay. There are a lot of more switches. By using the FNP, you can set that value by which you can change the speed of the scanning process. But changing the timing or changing the speed, there will be a difference in the accuracy. And map max read tries that how many times it will try before defining that this port is closed or open. Okay. So the max scan delay. Okay. So how much delay? Because if you are doing a scan in a very fast manner, you can be easily caught by the detection system. So by using it, you can define that delay should be 1 second or 2 seconds. Okay. And there are a lot more flags. You can also read output. So using ON, you can get the output, and by using the O capital X, you can export it in a XML format. And there are different formats, graphical formats. Okay. So as we I have used last time. So this one is for service detection and version detection. And web version in intensity level target. This one is another switch. Okay. So it will set aggressiveness in the version detection by which you can get the version, and it may vary if you are using it, that the accuracy may vary. Okay. This one is for hyphen. If you are using capital O, that means this one is for operating system detection. Okay. If you want to detect that which operating system is running on the system which we are scanning, then you have to define this flag. So there are a lot of flags as I have shown you in the manual. So you can also read these things from there. This is for require scan. Okay. So it will craft a packet for you which will bypass the intrusion detection system. Okay, spoof packets. Okay, by which you can define some spoof IPs. Okay, to confuse the detection system. More flags are there. And, okay, these are especially for firewall bypass. Okay, if the firewall is used, then you must try these types of flags. PS is for TCP simping scan, which uses SIM packets to probe for live hosts. PA performs TCP active scan, which uses ACK packets. Okay, different types of packets are used here. So this one is the more flag for spoon MAC address. You know about the little bit about the network things you must have know about what is MAC address. Okay, so how this by this way you can spoon your MAC address also if you are scanning into a live network. More flags, trace route, okay, trace route option performs a trace route to the target, displaying the path packet take to reach the target. Okay, what are the paths in the scanning process that and map NTU target performs path NTU discovery by determining the maximum transmission unit around the network pass to the target. These are the different techniques. IPv6, it will define the switch as -6, and it will go for the IPv6 scanning. Okay. Firewall identification. This one is for firewall identification. A for aggressiveness scanning. It will do all the things, a lot of things at once, like OS detection, version detection, skill scanning, and transfer. Okay. So here is a command nmap hyphen as capital as hyphen small as capital B and hyphen capital O. After that, the target. By using this command, it will combine a lot of things. Scene scan, after that version scan, and hyphen O for operating system scan. Okay. Okay, so this is the conclusion that IMF is a versatile and powerful tool that offers a wide range of scanning options and techniques. So, offensive security professionals can utilize Nmap. Okay, so if you are gonna use Nmap in a large scale that is scanning, it's time to create the code scanner. So here we have imported the modules. Okay. So the first one is socket. After that, arc pass trading. Okay. So this line imports the arc pass for command line argument passing. Okay, if you want to provide some arguments from the terminal, then you have to use arc pass module, which is available in Python. After that, socket is one for network related operations. And threading, I have discussed a little bit about threading, thread tool. And I think I should move to the code. Okay. Okay, so I should move to the code where I will explain you all these things line by line. Okay. All right. So this is the few line of code. So we can see that these are the three columns are pass, socket, threading, and after that there is a definition port scan. Okay. In this port scan, this line starts the definition of the port scan function, and here the function which will be responsible for scanning the specified target and host and ports and the closed TCP connections. So here we have used the try and accept block. So TCP/IP equal to socket dot get host by name. By using this predefined functions, we will try to get the IP address. If we are providing the host name, it will resolve the IP address. Otherwise, it will remain same. IP address when it will be IP address. Okay. After that, it will move to the another block. And there is an exception. If there will be some error in resolving it, it will give error. It will not throw the error here, but it will be handled by the accept block. After that, there is the another block try in which you are using get host by address. Here it was get host by name. Now it will try to resolve the host name. Okay, in the second part. So this block tries to get the target host name by using the IP address, and if it will be successful, it prints the host name. Otherwise, it prints the IP address. Okay. Here it will print the host name if it will be succeeded, otherwise it will just print the IP address. And there is a socket say default timeout. We will provide some timeouts. So this line sets default timeout in the socket connections. This means if a connection attempts take more than 1 second, the connection attempts will be aborted. Okay. And after that, there is a for loop. So in this for loop, you can see it is looking something different because we are using threading also here. Okay. So by using the threading, by this way we are using here the thread, and we will define the target, which the exact function which we gonna put inside this thread. Target is connection scan. This is the definition. Okay. And what are the arguments here? Target host, target host. Okay. And one thing is here int ports. Here we are doing typecasting because we want the ports into a integer format. After that, key dot start. It will start the loop and proceed the process using the threading. Here is the main definition, connection scan. So what does this connection scan do? Let's discuss about it. So please starts the definition of the connection scan function. Okay. This function will be executed by an individual thread to perform the actual connection scan for a specific port. Okay. So if you want to scan at 1020 ports, then it will do all the ports scanning in a independent manner because we are using here the threads. So this is the way by which we start the threading. Utilize the threading. Screen log equal to threading dot log. Okay. So we are using this line to synchronize the prints. Okay, we are gonna print outputs. So that's why we have to synchronize it because there are a lot of ports are there. Okay, so different ports will gives different result. So we have to do it in a synchronized manner, otherwise it will be messed up. Okay. So this is the way with socket dot socket. This block of code performs connection scan for the specific target host and port. And here they are using AFINet. This one is for TCP because we are doing the TCP scan. Sorry, for this one is for IP address port. And after that, sock stream, this one is for TCP. Okay, because we are doing here TCP scan. And we are using dot connect. Okay, let me break it down for you. So whatever you have here in the try block, the port performs the connection scan for the specified target host and port. It attempts to connect here in the line dot connect. It will attempt to connect with the target host and the given port. Okay. If the connection is successful, it sends the string cyber. You can also change it whatever you want to send the string to the IP address host name, and after that results, it will receive the results. Okay, so up to 100 bytes, it will receive 100 bytes result from the remote service. Then it prints whether the port is open or closed based on the success or failure of the connection. Okay, so here there is one thing to be noticed. Here is string log dot acquire. Okay, so before printing, we use dot acquire to print the exact thing according to the process. Okay, otherwise it will print the different processes outputs. Okay, different codes. So to synchronize it in a manner, we use here dot acquire. Okay, it will lock it. And here, if there will be exception, it will say that TCP is closed. Otherwise, it will give the results and so say that this one is open port. And finally, screen log dot release. After doing this, we will release the acquired port, because there are a lot of rest ports are there. And uh, this block is for the uh, command line argument, and the module that has been used here is rpass. Okay, so this block, let me break it down for you. This block of codes defines the command line arguments that the script accepts. Okay, so the script requires some inputs from the user, that what is the target code, what is the target host. Okay, so that's why this is used here. It uses the rpass module to pass the target host and codes specified by the user while running the script. And here it will define that by this way you can use, there is an example that by this way you can use this script. Okay, or you can say that this is a brief manual of the tool. And after that, first one is for target host. It will say that specify target host, and similarly this one is for target ports, that you have to provide the ports. Okay, specify target ports separated by comma. It will show you some manuals. Okay, that's why we are using here rpass, and for also user line command attributes. Okay, and so let me show you that how we're gonna use this script. And here one more thing is left, that dot split. Okay, so whatever codes we will define here, like 21 comma 22 comma 18. Okay, so it is required here to break down them into a list. That's why this dot split function is here. It will convert all the comma separated things into a list. And here's the last line where the process executes. Will scan ars dot tbk host, that it will receive from the command line, and this one also from the command line. Okay, so Python 3. Okay, so before running the script, let me give you some information about this command. So by using this ping command, you can check that a host is active or not. Okay, so here I am going to test scan dot map dot org. Okay, so here you can see that this is the IP address of this IP address board. Okay, so now we're gonna perform a scanning code scan in this machine. Okay, so sudo Python 3 code scanner -h. So this time I will show you the manual. That's why I have written here -h. Okay, so whatever was in the rpass, you can see it is printing here that this is the uses of the scanner. Okay, and this one is for host, and this one is for port. It is showing the manual. Now it's time to execute it. So Python 3 port scanner, and I will scan the scanme.nmap.org, and I will do, I have provide port number 21, 22, 18, 443, 445. Okay, and all right, you can see that it has given the results. So let's analyze the results. 21, which is for activity is closed. 22, which is for SSH, it is open. 80 is also open. This result is also similar to the last one that I have shown you. And this time we have performed it using the socket module in Python. Okay, so I hope that you have enjoyed it. Let me check that if something is remained in the activity or not. Okay, these are the things that I have already covered in the code. Okay, so this is the conclusion. Creating an unmapped equivalent to using Python is a valuable academic exercise that helps you understanding data scanning techniques, socket programming, and concurrency in Python. By building upon this basic implementation, we can develop more sophisticated network scanning tools for offensive security and cybersecurity research. Okay, so we can also extend this tool. We can also add some more features. Okay, so at least we have did the first thing that we have made the code scanner.
Wonderful. Ayush, thank you so much. I think, this was absolutely mind-boggling. Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, faculties from across the country. Now you all understand where we are going towards. We are not going to take you something which everybody else does in education industry in cyber. We're not going to teach you how to run a tool. Yes, we'll teach you how to run a tool just to know more about the tool. And finally, you build your own tool on top of it. Atmanirbhar Bharat is not a slogan of Mr. Modi. It's a need of the hour. Anything that you build on your own is trustworthy. And our entire program is aimed at Atmanirbhar Bharat. And I am very confident in the group of 20,000 plus people, 10-15 startups will definitely come up, building some extraordinary capability in cyber defense engineering. Look forward for connecting you again today. We just jumped the gun. Please bear with me. Many of you may have understood something, may not have understood. Purpose was not that. Purpose was that, we wanted to show you where we want to take you. It is not some child's play that we are teaching you some theories. Everything that will teach you has a reason. And I give you, analogy of the Sherpas. We are your Sherpas. Trust us. Continue with us for the next 25-30 days time. Give us your 30 days. And I promise you, I'll give you an extraordinary career in cyber defense. All the teachers, we request you, please see your students comes and join and undergo these trainings. At the end of it, all of us are responsible for making Bharat resilient against cyber attack. That can only happen if we have the necessary critical mass of cyber defense engineer. With that, I conclude it today. Thank you so much once again. Thank you, Ayush, for being part of the journey today. I'm sure that, this will give you a dimension. And that is where we end today evening, 27th July 2023. Late evening. Goodbye. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.